There's a reason why my gluten-free focaccia recipe is probably one of the most popular recipes on my website. It's got a crispy edge, a squidgy middle, and it's super easy to make. Perfect for beginners to gluten-free baking, plus it's accidentally dairy-free and vegan as well. Now the first thing you need to do is activate your yeast, so I'm adding some dried yeast into some sugar water. Now you want this to be warm. I recommend using a food thermometer to get it around 40 degrees centigrade. Cover it and leave it in a nice warm spot for about 5 to 10 minutes until it gets a nice frothy head on it like a pint of beer. Meanwhile, I've got my gluten-free flour blend. Now I've added some xanthan gum into this, which really helps with the texture, and some salt for taste. Then when the yeast is nice and frothy like this, I'm just going to pour in that mixture. And the final thing you need to make this focaccia bread is some olive oil. You want a good quality virgin olive oil, chuck that in there, and then it's just a case of whipping it into a kind of thick, sticky batter. Now, if you're not used to making gluten-free bread, you may find it a bit odd to not make a dough that you can knead, but trust me, you want a batter when you're making it gluten-free because it needs a lot more moisture in it. The gluten is what actually makes the dough stretchy, so if you do have a dough that you can knead and roll about, the chances are that you have put too much flour in and it's not going to come out right. Once you've mixed the batter together, you want to oil a tin. You can either use a round tin or a square one like this, and I'm just putting a little strip of baking paper in just to help me lift the focaccia out when it's baked. Pour the mixture into your tin and then use your hands to press it out. Now you probably want to oil them so that it doesn't stick to you. Like I said, this dough can be quite sticky. Once it's nice and flat, it's time to prove the dough. So you want to pop this in a nice warm spot. I'm going to cover mine in cling film and a tea towel to make sure it doesn't get any drafts coming in. And you want to leave it for about an hour. It should roughly double in size. If you've got a very warm spot, you may find it proves quicker. And if it's quite cold, you may find it proves a lot slower. So just go by kind of sight on this one. And as you can see, it should look like this. So you can see that the dough has puffed up nicely, it's squidgy, it's looking great already. So to put my festive spin on my focaccia recipe, and I will link all this in the description below, I'm adding some confit garlic oil, which was actually a Christmas present, but I thought it would just add a nice sort of garlicky taste to the focaccia. And obviously the oil makes it go lovely and crispy, so the more oil, the better in my opinion. I'm just going to use some oiled fingers to then poke those classic focaccia little dimples on top, and then I'm using some fresh rosemary to create a Christmas tree. You can use any herbs you like, and you can decorate your focaccia bread with whatever you fancy. You can use herbs, you can use garlic cloves, you can use vegetables. Honestly, go nuts. It's great fun to just get creative with this, but I decided I'd go for a festive Christmas tree, and this will be a lovely addition to maybe Boxing Day when you've got some soup to eat and those in-between days, or you could serve it up alongside sort of picky bits and a cheese board. Now once I've made my little focaccia tree, I'm just going to add some cherry tomato baubles. I did think afterwards that olives would have worked quite well for this as well, but like I said, just get really creative with it. And this would be a great recipe to make with kids because they can just go nuts and make whatever they like. And now that's decorated, I'm going to pop it in a super hot oven. We want this to go nice and golden brown and crisp up, so I'm going to pop it in the oven. It takes about half an hour. And when it comes out, as you can see, it is gorgeous, it's golden, it's crispy. When you tap it on the bottom or around the edges, it should sound kind of hollow. And when it's had a little while to cool down, just so that the gums settle in the bread, you can cut it up, scoff it, enjoy it, dunk it in soup, have it with cheese, make a picnic, go nuts. I guarantee you're going to want to make this over and over again. Now check out the link in the description below for the full recipe as well as some more ideas for kind of toppings for this and what to serve it with, and I'll see you again for another recipe tomorrow.